Welcome to Tyrompers No Limit Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, thanks so much for tuning in to Tyrompers No Limit Podcast. This is episode number 89. Guys, we have a special treat today. We got a mom of three. She is certified strength and nutrition coach. She runs the Fit as a Mama Bear blog and brand. She's always posting videos of her kids working out and joining in. This woman inspires me and amazes me every day. Shelby, I got one quick question for you. How do you do all the things you do with all the little kids running around?
So I've learned to embrace the chaos. I think that's really what it comes down to. Like our house is insane. I have a 7, 5, and 2-year-old. The 2-year-old is crazy because she's the third baby. So you just learn to show up and do what you can and roll with all of the insanity is pretty much the only way to do it.
I love that answer, and it's one I can relate to so much. I think for anybody who might not know you or a little bit about what you're about, because I've seen some pictures of you in the past you posted to, you're smoking cigarettes, you're living a different life. Tell us and walk us through maybe a little bit of your journey and that health journey and kind of a little bit about you.
So it's been a journey. I was actually a restaurant manager in my former life. And I think I started smoking around, I want to say 12 or 13-ish. Yeah. So I know I think look at my daughter now, she's turning 8 and I'm like, oh my God, that was in 4 years. How is this happening? So really, really young, I started drinking probably around the same age. And I think I want to say 18, like I was drinking hard every day. So that lasted through to my 20s. And I wish there was like one big moment, but there wasn't. I was a restaurant manager. I didn't love my job. I could not cook. I lived off pizza pockets and McDonald's and alcohol. So there's that.
Diet has changed a little bit over the years.
A little bit. And so I woke up and I wanted to be healthier, which now people say that to me, and that is the lamest goal, because what does healthy mean, right? Like there are so many different ways to put that, but I just wanted to be healthier. So my big swap that year was to start eating. I don't know if you guys have them, but in our grocery stores, there's like these store-made yogurt parfaits. Oh, yeah. And I was like, yogurt is healthy. So there's 56 grams of sugar in these yogurt parfaits. But this was my healthy change. Okay, it wasn't to cut alcohol or smoking. I was eating yogurt.
It does and then McDonald's though, to be fair.
Right? Like there's a transition there.
Right.
And then every year I honestly just started learning a little bit more and trying a lot of things. I actually wrote to a gym manager of a local gym, literally asking him to fix my life. I was like, I don't want to be a restaurant manager. I hate what I'm doing. I cannot see myself doing this for another 30, 40 years or with kids. I think I was like 23 at the time when I wrote to him. I was like, I need someone to fix my life. And he emailed me back and he gave me a job.
No, at a gym?
Yeah, as a fitness manager.
That was like your first big break, kind of.
It was my first big break.
That's amazing. So, okay.
Yeah.
Now we got to go to this part. So you're 23, you're drinking a lot, you're smoking now. All of a sudden you got a job at a gym one day. What does that look like? You go in, you start to get certified, learning. What's
So super nervous because I had just started kind of working out, like not really, but going to the gym and walking on the treadmill, so, but I was still smoking, I was still drinking, and he gave me a fitness manager role, which was scary because I'm in charge of a bunch of personal trainers and have never trained a day in my life. So there's that. So I did get certified, and then it just kind of spiraled on honestly trial and error. Like that is the best way that you learn. Obviously I kept getting certified. I stayed there for a couple of years before I moved to a smaller gym and trained there. And then in 2012 I actually opened my own business because I was sick of working for people. Turns out I'm not great at that. And by then I had stopped. I got down to smoking just when I was drinking heavily and with certain friends. So not every day. So I went from about a pack a day down to maybe a couple a week, which was huge.
Yeah.
And that was just a cold turkey thing. So I think nobody liked me for a good 5-week period. And then I got married and fitness just became more part of my life. The biggest thing was normally I would always drink if I was angry, if I was stressed. I'm a very anxious, overwhelmed, twitchy person. So I drink to kind of numb that and take that down. So somewhere along the way, it just kind of shifted that you could work out and get the same high. Like you could get everything that is bubbling in your head out on something. And then I got pregnant. So I got pregnant and I took a long look as to what I wanted to teach this baby or be as a mom. And I stopped focusing on workouts to look really, really hot and instead started focusing on lifting a lot more. So I actually strength trained all three. I have three kids. So all three pregnancies. I think I was back squatting like 110 pounds the day that, like leading up to birth.
I love to watch a lot of those videos when you're like,
oh my God,
you're doing
the
squats.
belly is so big getting in the way and I'm somehow doing it.
Fun.
Yeah. So then strength training became kind of my number one thing. And it has just spiraled from there, to be perfectly honest. I got certified as a strength and conditioning specialist, I think in 2013. And that was a big game changer business wise and just personal wise. Turns out I love lifting. It makes me feel good. And feeling strong when you have kids is like the best feeling ever. You feel like a superhero.
That's right. And your kids look up to that and think that too. Well, there's a couple, I think you hit on a couple of really big topics and important ones I want to hit on is one, somebody who's out there who's maybe drinking, smoking, living a life maybe they don't want to be. You don't have to solve everything at one day, right? Like you have a gradual journey that just kind of keeps progressing. And I think that's a really powerful message to people, right?
It was a very slow thing. I feel like every year I tried something new or I learned something. I went through a phase where my stepmother was diagnosed with cancer and I read everything about the correlation between nutrition and cancers. And so that changed the whole way I look at food. And then strength training changed. Getting stronger and being able to keep up with kids changed my mindset on how to approach workouts. So I think like I said, my big healthy swap was starting to eat yogurt. So it wasn't a major thing. I didn't go keto. I didn't eliminate every food group. I just ate some yogurt.
I want to tweet that. Just everybody eat yogurt. That's
my God. Oh my goodness. And now I'm dairy free and gluten free.
Now is when you met your husband, back me up to there, like at this point was he really into fitness? Did you guys meet at the gym or how?
No, we met at a bar.
Yeah. Okay.
We met at a bar. He's not a crazy fitness person. He's an electrician. So it's a manual labor thing for him. Yeah. So completely different. I was still a very big drinker when we met. And we were a little bit younger, obviously at that point. So he's kind of shifted with me along the years, which has been the biggest support ever. I think the only feedback he'd say is he hates when I read new books because then I'm like, we have to do this and this and get rid of this. This is wrong. And he's like, can we just think, take it down for a minute.
I think that's a good marriage though, as you have healthier habits and bring them into the family, he kind of rides with you, right? And I'm sure there's things that he does that make you better, maybe more calm or whatever that is, right? Like me and my wife have those things too, where like I'm really good at some things and I can bring her up. She's really good at many, many things and can help bring me up, right? And so I think that's like a superpower when you're in a marriage like that. I want to hit to your kids because, dude, I love, it's one of my favorite things on Twitter. There's 3 kids running around this exercise room. You're doing like some stuff. And now the kids are joining you though. And they're asking you to do things. Can you talk about the importance of, modeling that, what that looks like for your kids? How some days, let's be honest, it's not an ideal workout, man. When 3 kids, like I do this too, right? I'm trying to work out and my daughter's in there wanting to do stuff too. And overall, man, I'm not going to get the same kind of burn that I would, but in my head, it's even more important to do it when they're there so that they're seeing it, right? Can you kind of walk me through what that looks like day to day?
This actually makes my heart happy now, like how much they love fitness. It makes my soul happy. It started when I was pregnant with my first, and they tell moms that you're never going to have your body back, and you're never going to be strong, you're going to have all these issues. And it really prepares you for a big mental effery, to be perfectly honest. So I was really scared of postpartum. And I said to myself, as long as I can work out, then I'll be able to deal with everything else. I have to work out because I need to stay sane. So I was in the gym like 2 days after giving birth. And instead of waiting for nap time, I just brought the baby down because it seemed easier. She could kind of bounce. And that literally just continued. So I always struggled getting workouts in during nap time because I feel like there's 86 house things, or for me, I run my own businesses. So business stuff that has to get done. Whereas working out, I can technically do with the kids, but I can't sit down and write a blog post with them. It's terrible.
Yeah, makes sense.
So it started that way, and then it progressed. So every day we are in the gym working out, and yes, it is crazy. If you've seen my videos, there's like the little one's into the TRX strap, so she's swinging now. My middle one likes to do random things. And my oldest loves hanging. So we're normally fighting for a barbell.
It reminds me of just like this awesome Disney movie to see, like, you're in the corner, like doing squats, your kids are on monkey bars climbing around, you got another one like running.
Yep.
It's like just a fun environment. Everybody's laughing though, everybody's smart. It's always like a fun, like, I feel like you do a great job of showing your kids fitness is fun too. This doesn't torture, right?
No, I made it a hard rule for myself that we would never talk about weight in the gym. We are not working out to look smaller or lose weight or etc. We work out because being strong is fun. It means that we can bike ride longer, and it means that we can do monkey bars, and it means that I can pick you up and throw you until you're however old. So we talk a lot about how being in the gym makes life more fun. And I think that message alone just girls need, to be perfectly honest. I have 3 girls. We're going to have some sort of body issue somewhere at some point in time, and I hope that they can come back to that. So they've never heard me say that we're in the gym for a specific reason as to how I look. It is just really fun to be strong. We did, like, since they've been in there is ground rules in the gym. Normally my heaviest lift on is first, obviously. So I have rubber mats, and they know they're not allowed on the rubber when that lift is in progress. Outside of that, you can run around, but you can't be on the mat if the bar is moving, which is a pretty good rule.
It's a very good rule, yes.
But it's gotten to the point now is, the truth is me showing up every day has taught them insane things. So on my rest days, they want to go to the gym. Like, they get their breakfast, awesome, and they assume that's where they're eating in the morning. So we go down and like, well, I might as well do some mobility or something if we're already here. But I found that to be the key with working out when they're really little, especially my 2-year-old, is she eats her breakfast in the gym. So it's always a make ahead breakfast, normally like overnight protein oats or something like that. And that gets me my first heavy lift.
I love that.
While she's like stationary on a mat. And then from there, everyone sort of wakes up and comes down, and the chaos of the workout begins. But they also know that it's like, working out is not an option in my house. We work out or we don't leave for school. Those are like, the workout gets done, period.
I love so many of the principles that you're instilling from an early age, and I especially love it for girls. And I really think there's this stigma, there's a lot of misconceptions, and I'd love to hit this with you around, I don't want to lift as a girl because I don't want to get too bulky. And okay, I'm just gonna say, I've been lifting for like 12 years. I can't get any more bulky. Like, I'm trying, you have to eat. There's so many things you have to do to get bulky, right? Like, you lift every day and have for years. No one's going to look at you and be like, oh yeah, Shelby's bulky. Like, no one's going to, like, I think there's a proper way to do it. And I love that you teach your girls and you teach other women that, hey, you don't need to be afraid of this, right? I think too many women are intimidated of weights, the gym, and what that looks like. Can you kind of talk through that or about that a little bit?
Yeah. So funny thing is I remember when I first started and I joined my gym and I decided I was going to stop just walking on the treadmill, and I bought Oxygen magazine and started following their workouts. I was so excited. And I remember telling my mom that I'm not going to take it too far though, because like, I don't want to be too big. And now I'm like, oh my God, my eyes are bleeding with that sentence. The thing is getting too big takes so much work. Like, it's half about what you do in the gym and more about what you eat, first of all. So as long as you are not eating 3,000 calories, you're not going to be that big jacked person. Like, bodybuilders train very specifically, very religiously to build. The person who is showing up to the gym focusing on strength versus building, those are 2 different kinds of workouts. Or just showing up to the gym 3 times a week, you're not getting jacked. Like, it's okay. What I've also found though too, and like, this was the best switch for me, is I worked out a long time to look hot. That was literally the sole purpose of my
Most
workouts.
People do. I started at the gym because I was fresh off of a divorce and a breakup in my mid 20s. And I was like, I want to look better when I take my shirt off at the beach. I want girls to notice. That was my main reason for working. I think most people start there, like a vanity thing, right?
They do. But the problem is in everyone's mind, in order to get that way, is you need to do crazy HIIT workouts. That's like the only way that females can get really lean, right? Is they have to do burpee intervals and jump squats and plyos and like all the things. And first, like, I hate those workouts. Those workouts kill me. But when I was pregnant, I decided that I was going to switch it and focus, instead on how I looked, I was just going to focus on getting really strong so that I didn't have back pain, so that I could keep up with the toddler. And the irony of that is by focusing on getting super strong, I looked like 100% better than I ever did when I was trying to be hot. So there is a way to lift weights, but if you focus on sheer strength and you focus on PR girls and PR goals and getting really, really strong, the body stuff comes. And then you're strong and it's fun. It feels amazing to keep up on monkey bars with my kids or be able to give them shoulder ride. Yeah.
It was so awesome. You and your daughter like got to school early to pick up your oldest, right? And you're just doing monkey bars and she's asking you to do it and challenging you. And I think this is something that I really want to touch on because I think you do an amazing job of. And look, guys, I'm gonna plug it's Fitasamamabear. I'm gonna plug everything Shelby does. Give her follows, check out her blog, her website. Everything is really awesome. And something I want to highlight here really quick is that, I think people have this misconception. Well, I have kids and now it is chaos. My house is chaos too. 2-2-year-olds, a 7-year-old, it's chaos, right? Let's just be honest. But my kids know it's normal. Every day we start at the park for an hour and a half, 2 hours. We're outside playing. Like we don't sit and just watch TV and screen. Like whatever you present as normal as a parent to your kids just assume it's normal to start the day at the gym because that's what you do. And I think parents need to really take a hard look at this and have some ownership with this. And maybe you've gone years and this hasn't been the norm for you, but you can change that today and say, look, whatever I make is normal. If I decide family walks instead of family Netflix is a normal thing, that's normal. And my kids will just view that as normal, right? So talk to me a little bit about, what that means to your kids, what you think, what you see even in the older ones as they kind of progress through and what that's meant to your family.
So I think the trick is we get really overwhelmed by having to make a habit change when we think of these things. But the truth is you just start showing up. Like that's all it comes down to is showing up day in, day out because your kids mimic, right? So I think yes, it is on the parents to start those things. But I think the other thing is about opening the conversation with your kids. We talk about fitness, we talk about exercise, we talk about why we do it and why we want to show up. And my oldest repeats those things. So this year, one of her friends who's in grade 6 placed first in like long jump, sprints, and throwing. And I was like, damn, like good on her. She's a short girl. She crushed all of these. And so I talked about it with my oldest, 7 now. And she was like, I want to be a sporty girl. Sporty girls are really cool. I'm like, it is, isn't it? Or like, I have a couple of party tricks I do at the park, like headstands and flips and stuff like that I've always done. And it's the best feeling in the world when she'll call me over with her friends and be like, can you show them how you do this?
Yeah.
So like they mimic what you do. And if you're excited about the things that you can do, and then they get excited about them. So like my girls love that we can all go for a bike ride or I can run while they bike ride. Like just, it sounds silly, but you got to work it into your day-to-day stuff. My girl, we wake up alarmingly early in this house. So we are like the 6 a.m. workout club, which means it's like 3 hours before school starts. But by 7:50, everyone's kind of getting twitchy and the kids are starting to fight. No one knows what to do because they're not allowed TV in the morning. It just doesn't work before school. But so they're getting angry. They've done their crafts. So instead of either letting them fight it out or turning the TV on for 10 minutes and having to turn it off, which makes no sense, we just leave early and go do something. So that's how we end up at the school 40 minutes before school starts. And we play because if we're just sitting there, why not?
Yeah, that makes sense. Get in motion, move, just teach that movement is awesome, right? And finding things that they love that are movement based is amazing. Yeah, one of my earliest memories of my dad, to be honest, and he was a big partier drinker. He would say a big time alcoholic until he was mid-20s. And then he swapped that addiction for fitness. And he will tell you today at 66, he's, that's my addiction, right? And he reaps the benefits, man. He still like throws my kids on his shoulders and hikes up mountains, right? But I remember my dad like putting me on his shoulders and sprinting up hills. And we always did family bike rides. Movement was normal. I mean, now both of his kids, my sister is a runner. She's in the gym doing Pilates, doing like all these things. I'm the same. I think we can instill these gifts to our kids. And I think you have to have a mindset of a parent. No parent wants to see their kids at 40 years old, like obese, decrepit, morbidly like diseases. Like, let's be honest, there's a body positivity thing. And I'll meet you wherever you're at. And I know you will too. People can come to you at 400 pounds and you'll help them. You'll love them. You'll encourage them. But I'm not going to lie to you and say, you need to stay there. It's great, because it's not. It's going to take years off your life, and it's going to take quality off your life. And no parent should want that for their kids. And I think the best way we instill that is exactly what you're doing every single day.
Well, I think it comes down to helping them find something they like too. So fitness isn't fun if you show up and you hate life all the time. So and that comes down to the message in the gym. Like, we're not working out because we hate it or we're punishing our body because we ate something. Mm-hmm. We're working out to be more stronger, more energy, all of those things. So part of that is about finding things that you just actually like to show up for, whether that is a Zumba class or Pilates or I'm obviously prone to lifting because of the other benefits in terms of like osteoporosis and that, but find things you actually don't hate.
That's right.
And then get them to do the same. If they love bike riding, roll with that, ride a bike with them, let them ride a bike, keep up with them, because letting them dictate and letting them choose is going to be what sets them up. I have one of my daughters likes to run and she's a good runner. And the one thing I will not say no to is if she wants to run around the block, we are running around the block. Like, it's not a hang on, just wait. It's a no, let's go get our shoes. Like,
I love that.
Their choices too.
Yeah. And I think empowering them, like we do this a lot. My wife and I talk about, like, we'll give our kids 3 choices. Do you want to go for a bike ride, for a hike, or go play at the park? All of those things align with what we're trying to teach them. We're outside, we're moving, we're healthy, but they feel like they made the choice and they're in control, right? So I think that's a good parent hack that you just mentioned right there. I love that.
It is. It works for food too, right? Like, sometimes they're not going to like every single thing, which is fine. They're kids, let's be honest. But if you have them in the kitchen, you're like, what do you want for dinner tonight? This, or this, or what's something you want on the table tonight? They'll give you, like, they'll mimic things that you normally have.
Yeah.
So make that, embrace that.
And that also eating kind of applies too. I used to think like, man, I used to run and I hated running to try and get in shape. And then I would think like you had to eat all freaking salad and like just this food that like I hated, and it was never sustainable. And so I'd yo-yo, right? And I'd be perfect for a month and then just completely fall off the next month. And what you mentioned is like finding foods that are healthy and you enjoy, like a double win, right? And finding movement-based activities you enjoy, double win, right? I think that's massive takeaway right there.
I think what freaks people out is it's a lot of trial and error to come across those things and kind of find what works for your lifestyle too. It's just the trial and error is worth it.
Yes.
So it sucks. You do have to put in some time. I'm really sorry. There is going to be some effort involved, but it makes it so much better at the end of it when you realize that you can still hit your goals or your maintenance or get to a certain spot and not hate life.
You know what else expedites that process is hiring a coach like Shelby. She's got Smash Fit for Life at-home workouts delivered monthly to your phone. She's got protein power snacks and ebooks and all these things. We're going to link all this stuff below, guys. I will say nothing leveled up my life more than hiring Zach Hommel. I paid a few $1,000s for this guy, and I learned how to get fit, stay fit, create systems, eat healthy, have better relationships, mindset, all these things, right? Hiring coaches and mentors. That's my plug. I'm going to transition from that.
I like it.
I got to get it in there somewhere. I so strongly in this. I feel like you don't see many super successful people in life that don't hire coaches and hire mentors. Why would you not learn from people who are in spots where you want to be and learn things from them?
My mentors literally changed the course of my life. So
yeah, it's a cheat code, right? So why would you? So guys, check out everything below that Shelby does. I'm going to plug everything she does. I want to switch to social media. I already talked a little bit, like, I love your content, the daughters in the morning, the monkey. It's fun. Like, social media has this stigma, it can be toxic. Yours is exactly the opposite. It's like life-giving, right? Like, you're just seeing a bunch of kids that are happy and running around. You mentioned earlier kind of how do you get it all done, right? Like, I've had times where I've had my son sitting on my lap as I try and and he's like mashing on the keyboard, right? And so talk me through, like, you run a huge blog, you run coaching business, you run a big social media account, you do a lot of things with young kids that are around all the time. How do you schedule? What are some of your tips around that? And how do you make it all work?
You have to be very intentional and very strategic. And there's not a lot of time for fluffing around, to be perfectly honest. So when I had my third, obviously I knew things were going to get a little dicey, which is fine. So I took a hard look about where my time needed to be spent and where it didn't. And sometimes you have to let things go. So Twitter's my jam. I love Twitter because I can just show up and be me and it works really well and everyone's super supportive. Whereas Instagram, for me, Instagram and I are not besties. I can't figure out how to be normal on that platform.
You know what the difference is, real quick? I think on Twitter, it's everybody saying, like, here's what we do, come join us, let's all win. And Instagram is like a bunch of gurus saying, like, I'm the best at this, copy exactly what I don't know. It's like people preaching at you versus people winning together is what I see. That's other people might see it,
100%.
but yeah,
I can post on Twitter, like I'll do squats and be like, I did squats today. It was awesome. This is what happened. And everyone's like, way to go. You did it. You're awesome. And I'm like, I feel so good. And
yeah.
then Instagram, everyone's like, what are you doing? Okay, never mind.
Just kidding, guys.
I can't. So you learn what things to let slide and what things to prioritize. And that comes down to income too. So what things are actually bringing in an ROI. I'm a big batch worker, so I am a very big scheduler. For instance, like blog content, everything, 6 recipes get photoed at a time, 6 recipes get written at a time. And I try and just stay a couple weeks ahead so that there is a little bit of a buffer. Working, like, thankfully, my youngest is in daycare 3 days a week now, so that lightens up the load a little bit. All my kids are home for summer. Knowing that, I tried to prepare ahead of time to be on top of it. Like, you just...
Summer break is wild at our house, too.
Oh, I'm excited, though. I love having the kids
so
home
fun, but you
for
get
summer.
Like,
No, it's...
That, like, we are both working in 4-minute segments and 9-minute segments and 11-minute like all day. Our work day is broken up into these tiny... Okay, the kids are like eating right now. We can sneak off and like get
eating.
You know, like, yeah, that's how
I think we struggle. So my girls are pretty good because obviously I've worked from home their entire lives. So they know how this goes. But my girls get up at 5 a.m. So while I would love to be the person who gets up early and gets it done, I tried getting up at 4 a.m. and it was terrible. That's not happening. So I can't do the morning thing because they're up. So it ends up being, we get up, we do our workout, we go do like our big thing. We come home and they're on their own playing for about an hour while I play catch up. Then we go do another thing and then I play. So you work in like weird blocks and there's normally someone crawling on you or asking you for a snack or some other thing that's bound to happen.
But again, it's you embrace the chaos. I love how you said that because I feel
have to.
I just say, like, there's times where we just laugh. Like at the end of the day, we're like, yeah, neither of us got anything done, but we had an amazing day with our kids, and that's kind of the point anyway. Yeah, we can work a couple hours a night, kind of exhausted, and it is what it is, right? Like,
it's the only way to, like, there's some things I can only do when I'm actually focused. Like I can't write with a whole lot of things going on. So like those things have to be done during some sort of quiet hour. But everything else, you just learn to squeeze in and show up and I don't know. And drink coffee.
You drink a lot of coffee. That's the same. Yes. I mean, even as I came into this podcast, my son Kingston followed me to the door and was sticking his fingers under the door. Dad. And I'm like, buddy, I'll be back in an hour. Let me work. You know, like
I had a call yesterday and I had a toddler sitting on my lap, but she refused to look at the camera. So she's just like upside down, bum first on the camera. I'm like, hi, I'm Shelby.
You know what, though? I think it makes you more real and relatable. Most of my clients are dads too. They get it. I bet most of your clients are mom. Like they get it, right? Like they understand that. And what you mentioned something earlier I want to hit back with is Twitter. And I don't feel like you put content out, so to speak. I feel like you just share your life. Was that like a strategy of yours early, or how did that end up?
I think it ended up from laziness. That sounds terrible. So Twitter is the last social platform I joined. Like I was always on Instagram, Facebook, and trying to win it and failing, for the record, not my jam. But I always thought that you had to put content out. You had to create, and you get so burnt out of freaking creating. And people don't want you to just share blog posts all the time. They want actual things. So instead of creating, I just literally started posting what I was doing. I was like, the message replies, whether I'm showing you 4 squat variations or I'm showing you the squat I'm doing currently and why I'm doing it, the same thing is happening. And the more that I just started posting the random things that I was doing, the better it became. Like my followers are super engaged. It's like the best community. I literally come on Twitter to get an ego boost because everyone's so awesome. Like it is I know a lot of people don't love it, but I find Twitter the most uplifting.
It's a mirror
area for me.
You put out all the positivity, you encourage everyone else around you, you're constantly giving that. And so I believe Twitter's a mirror and it gives you that back. If you go on and you tear people down every day and you troll and you argue about politics, dude, your Twitter's going to suck because that's what you want back, right? But you have an awesome community, dude. You can post just doing like a quick workout, and within an hour, you got 50 people down. You're awesome, Shelby. I'm doing this too. I thank you for this tip. And then you're encouraging back, and it's this beautiful cycle, right?
Well, and you feel like you're actually connecting with people. So my blog went down for the first time this past week, which was horrible and the worst experience of my life, and I was super stressed. And I posted about that, being like, listen, I'm doing my best to smile, but I'm freaking out. And I did a zillion workouts, I think, the last couple of days because I was just trying to take my head away. But everyone was so supportive of it, like beyond supportive, that instead of having to bear it all of myself, I was able to talk to people about it and get suggestions, and just people being uplifting back. Man. So I find it an amazing community, and that's what you want, right? Like you want that group of people to celebrate all the wins with and to just do things with.
That's right. Our corner of Twitter, I think, is like no other place on earth, where I'm yet to see people, they don't stay around. If somebody comes in that community and they're trying to take or be negative, I know they're not going to be there a few months from now. I just know it. Like all the ones that have been around for years and years and years, like we have, and keep growing and growing, it's the same recipe. They're very authentic. They share what they're doing. They encourage others. They try and win together, keep building,
it's just
right?
positive, right?
Yeah,
like positivity is contagious.
I agree.
It just is. And it made, like, don't get me wrong, I was known as the pessimistic person, which is hilarious if you know me. It is pretty funny. Yeah. But I was always like the glass is half empty, I'm going to tell you the worst case scenario person. And it flipped somewhere along the way, and it's way more contagious and way more fun. It's hard. Sometimes it takes a little bit to flip the switch mentally to look at why this could be happening and what we can do with it. But if you can nail that down, everything else it's a game changer.
I agree. Yeah, I 100% agree. And I do think it's a choice, right? And you share things that aren't always, it's not like everything is like, oh, the sun is shining, there's flowers, there's like, you're like, dude, this workout was hard. It kind of sucked today, but we got it done. That's part of being positive, right? You don't always feel it, but you're showing that, dude, I always tell people I'm in shape because 200 days a year, I go to the gym when I don't feel like it, or 100 days or whatever that is, right? Like I go 100 days of the year when I just don't want to. You just have to do that some days.
The best quote I ever heard was, motivation kills your goals. And it's because you are not going to be motivated 98% of the time. I wake up motivated for like 4 days a year where I'm like, this could be the best lift and I'm going to smash it. We're going to do it. The other, like I work out at 6 a.m. Do you think I want to stop drinking my coffee in the dark because I'm in Canada? Stop drinking my coffee and be like, well, I'm going to go lift really heavy and it's going to be great. It's not. Okay. But we go get warmed up and you show up anyway.
That's right.
So you can't rely on motivation. If you're relying on motivation, you are going to have honestly lackluster results in any goal that you choose to set. You have to be dedicated.
Yeah, you don't feel like writing. I rarely feel like writing before I start to write, right? But I just putting out my 5th ebook here soon, right? Like it's like you just have to keep going, right? And do the things sometimes you don't want to do to get to places you don't want to go. Also, cheers to Canada. I have now met like 10,000 Canadians in my life. Brian, one of my best buddies from back in the day in poker, I stayed with him a long time. Every Canadian I meet, you guys are so friendly. You're the most encouraging, nice. Like I once went to a couple of hockey games in Canada with my buddy Brian, and I accidentally bumped into a couple guys while drinking. And they're like, oh, sorry. Like, you're supposed to have like accommodating, nice people I've ever met. So it's now 10,001 and 0.
Well, we try, it is pretty awesome.
Yeah, it seems like a special place. Well, I want to hit one more thing here too. I want to talk about kind of what you see as the role of parents, and maybe speak specifically to parents here, because I know somebody's going to watch this, right? And they're going to be like, oh, Shelby with her damn good genes and just gets to like be healthy and like, look, I don't have it this way. Or maybe I'm a single mom and, she doesn't understand the things I go through. And what do you tell maybe a mom or maybe a single dad, somebody that's in that spot that's like, look, I work all day, the kids are draining, all these things. I don't know where to start. What do I do, right? How do you speak to somebody like that kind of is in a bad spot with kids?
You need to pick a step and take a step. It doesn't have to be big. I started with yogurt, guys, yogurt. But you have to pick something. So again, there's no perfect routine, there's no perfect system, and there never will be. There's only the one that is perfect for you and the one that you show up to. So if that means instead of sitting down after work, you go for a walk, that's a win. If you are going to bump up your protein or your water, that's your step, that's a win. Your changes don't have to be ginormous and all encompassing and take away everything out of your life all at once. Every little bit helps. So today, my muscles are super sore, so we decided not to work out. It's the last day of school here, so we played instead. On the way home from school drop off, I went through the park. There was a pull-up bar. I was like, no, I should do some pull-ups because I'm going to be sitting all day. So one set pull-ups, that's it. That's all I've done today, but it's something. Okay, so every little step matters. And I know schedules are a mess, and some of you are up at 5 a.m. like myself, and you are working and you are not going to bed till 11 p.m. But anything you can squeeze into your day, whether that is a 4-minute Tabata in your office, rock some squats, do them as a Tabata. It sucks, trust me. Okay, all those little things add up. So there's always wiggle room, and there's always a way. You just have to find out how to do it and how to take the step.
I love that. That's where hiring people like you can come in and actually break down their schedule and figure out some things that are sustainable and help, right? I remember when I was working an office job and building a side business, and we had 3 1-year-olds at the time. And my workouts most days, to be quite honest, were exactly what you said, 5 to 8 minutes in the morning of some HIIT type stuff, push-ups and a walk on my lunch break at the office. I'd change of clothes. My kids would go to bed. I'd do planks at night or just something little to keep the ball rolling. I knew during that season I couldn't do a lot, but man, anything I could do to just keep the ball rolling, right? I think you have to have that mindset.
There's stages of life, right? So sometimes you do need to just embrace the more challenging stage that you're in and accept and change your mindset, the fact that you are not going to get in a 30-minute structured workout, and it's just not going to happen. And that's okay. It is 100% okay, but you still have to move. You still have to take a step. So I have a client right now who works 15-hour days, and it's insane. It's an office job, so she's sitting all of the time. But what we do is we have a 4-minute office workout for her that uses her desk and her chair that she tries to do twice a day.
Awesome.
That's it. Is it ideal? Nope. Is it going to get her the leanest body ever? Probably not. Does it keep her moving? Yep. So sometimes you just have to roll with what you have. And try.
Amen.
That's it.
Yeah, amen. I think that's really well said. And your brain is designed in a way too, the more I study the brain, that when you give it wins, it starts looking for more wins, right? When you give it gratitude and start to pour that, it starts looking for other things to be grateful for. If you're just sitting all day and you're negative, it actively seeks, like if I just say to you, Shelby, look for red cars today, dude, every red car your brain's going to notice, right? Like, so it's, if I'm looking for wins and looking for little ways to get better, your brain's going to start seeking those out too. So getting kind of addicted to that is a good step.
It's a mindset thing. It is 100% mindset. I think too, especially when it comes to working out, is it's not always about your body and lifting and how good it feels, but like I lift so that I'm not freaking crazy, to be perfectly honest. And with the blog going down this past week, I ended up lifting more because that's my outlet. That's the thing that I need so that my mind is clear. So once you realize the other benefits of going for a walk or working up a sweat or getting a little breathless, those things, when you realize the mental side, again, it's a game changer. And those 4-minute workouts make a difference because they took your mind to a better spot for a minute.
That's right.
So find those things, and then you tend to make them work a little bit more because you're like, this made me feel good.
I love that. All right. Well, I got a few rapid fire questions for you at the end. What's your favorite book of all time?
Oh my gosh.
Or
honestly, this sounds super corny, so I'm going to roll with that. But the Manual for Precision Nutrition was one of my favorites. So is Strong Lifting by Brett Contreras. Okay. So I absolutely love him, but both are written in a way that they like joke throughout the textbook while you're kind of learning. And I love those. And Strong Lifting kind of changed the game on how I look at lifting and what it can do and how the minimal effort you can do to get the max gains. It was really cool.
I love that. That's awesome. Very cool. What's your ideal date night for your husband or a family activity that you guys do?
Okay, ideal date night we actually do every year on our anniversary, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. It's our 10th.
Hey, that's a big one. That's a big one. Cheers. Happy anniversary.
Thanks. So we actually pawn the kids off on grandparents and we go to the beach for the night. And it's awesome when we walk the strip because we're in Canada, so we don't live on the beach in sunshine all the time. But it's in July, so we go to the beach and we walk the strip and we grab dinner and we just hang out on the beach without children. It is magical.
That's the greatest thing that every parent should do from time to time. My wife and I joke we love our kids so much we ignore them at least once a week.
So I love your posts on that. They make me happy.
Together, right? I think that's a key thing.
No, and it's awesome because normally when we go to the beach, it's always with kids. And let's be honest, you're not relaxing at the beach with children.
You're just making sure they don't die, right?
Pretty much. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's your favorite family activity then?
That's a hard one. I'd say it's actually a toss-up between camping. We do a bit of camping. We have a trailer, that, or honestly, bike riding. I love being able to bike. Like my two older ones are on two-wheelers now. And the little one, I'm trying to convince to stay in the stroller for a little bit so that we can not be crazy. But we bike to school in the mornings, and it honestly is just, it's quiet out and the sun's out. We're biking and they chat so much. And I just get to hear all about the things in their mind. So it sounds really simple. But I love those like early morning bike rides where there's not a bunch of noise or chaos and they're just chippering, chattering around.
The best things in life are the simple things. I love that. I think that's amazing. I love that. Well, Shelby, I appreciate you so much coming on, dropping a lot of wisdom, bringing some positivity, energy to the podcast. Give a last word to the people here, if you want to say one last thing.
I want you all to focus on showing up. Stop making it complicated. You just have to show up.
Amen. Preach it. I love that. Well, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to Tyrompers No Limit Podcast. Episode, I think it's 88, could be 89. I don't know. We're somewhere around there. But hey, guys, I'm going to link everything Shelby does below. This is truly one of my favorite follows on Twitter. She has an amazing community, growing every day, puts out a lot of positivity. If you ever want encouragement, positivity, see what to do, check out her blog, check out her ebooks. We're going to link everything she does below. You guys go have the greatest day of your life. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to others. Let's go bless up and have the greatest day, Debbie. Thank you.